Karen Read trial, day 17. Here's what happened in court today. So first thing this morning, Bias Bev gave the jury instructions and told them that they can't make faces, noises, or comments during the trial. Then Brennan offered a stipulation that was agreed on by both parties, and that is that the troopers that were present at the autopsy were Connor Keefe and Trooper Watson, not Proctor. So first witness today was Andre Porto, and he is a forensic scientist with the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. He testified about the DNA swab taken from Karen Read's taillight and says that there were 3 contributors, one of them which he said was likely to be John O'Keefe's, and the other 2 are unknown contributors. He also testified about the DNA analysis of the hair found on Karen Read's SUV, and he said his conclusion was that no human DNA was detected. He said there may have been human DNA, but it was below the level that his lab could detect. He tested the DNA from the broken drinking glass and says that there were 3 DNA contributors, one of which was highly likely to be John O'Keefe and the other 2 unknown contributors. They then move on to the stain found on the upper right leg of John O'Keefe's jeans. Again, he says there are 3 DNA contributors found, one of which is highly likely to be John O'Keefe. He testified about the analysis conducted on a stain from O'Keefe's sneaker and 3 stains on his long sleeve shirt. He said they were deemed not suitable for comparison because there were too many contributors. At this point, the prosecution has no further questions, and Yannetti is now asking about 3 DNA contributors to the passenger side taillight, one of which was John O'Keefe. Yannetti wants to know who the other 2 are. They could be anybody, he says. He asks him if he was asked to compare DNA profiles from Canton Police Detective Kevin Albert, Canton Police Chief Kenneth Burkowski, and he says he was not. He asked him about the 3 contributors that were found on the drinking glass, and again, he says it could be anybody. Basically asked him the same thing about the stains on John O'Keefe's jeans, and again, he doesn't know the other 2 contributors. And basically the same with the shoe and the long sleeve shirt. Next on the stand was Ashley Valier, and she works with the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. They go over a series of photographs that are being shown in the courtroom of evidence. She goes over how she does a physical match analysis of the evidence. She notes the size, color, and material of the items recovered. She talks about how the broken pieces of plastic recovered from 34 Fairview Road fit together. She testifies about debris recovered from O'Keefe's clothing, saying that there was dirt and pieces of plastic contained within the debris. She says that she saw the debris for analysis, but that she did not analyze or see the clothing itself. Yannetti then begins cross-examination, and he asks her about DNA testing and when it's done. He asks if she was aware that there were 3 DNA contributors from the taillight. She says she was not aware. He's now asking her about John O'Keefe's clothing, and she testifies how she never saw the clothing itself. He's asking about the chain of custody as far as procedure. She says that she's confident in the chain of custody procedures and testifies that these procedures are how they differentiate whether evidence was seized by a member of the lab team or other law enforcement. He then has her check the report because she can't remember who seized the items. And of course, it's Trooper Michael Proctor. He then asks her if she can vouch for what happened to the clothing before it came to her, and she confirms she cannot. They then wrap up early, send the jury home for the day, and Bias Bev rules on the new Aperture report and the timestamp shift. And she says, my findings for the record are that the defendant has not persuaded me of undue surprise or unfair prejudice by this information. I do not find that there's delayed disclosure.